Welcome to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
So today we're doing something a little different. We're taking just one source you've given us. It's a review of the film L'Immensity, and we're going to really dive into it.
Yeah, the idea is to unpack just this one review, see what themes it pulls out, how it portrays the characters, the style.
Exactly. And really get to the heart of what this particular critic thought made the film interesting, but also maybe what held it back, why they felt it didn't quite hit the mark completely.
It's a cool approach, I think.
Right.
Because it's not about saying this is the truth about the film.
Right.
It's about understanding one informed perspective really deeply. Like, how did these specific elements land for this person?
Precisely. Okay, so the film is L'Immensity, directed by Emanuele Crialese. And the review notes, this is actually his first feature since Terra Firma, which was way back in 2011.
Wow, yeah, that's over a decade. A big gap.
A huge gap, especially since the review mentions he only has 4 films total. So it speculates a bit, why this film now? Maybe he wanted to do big song and dance numbers, or work with Penélope Cruz.
Or maybe it's more personal. The review hints it could be a coming-of-age story that kind of mirrors his own life.
Could be. And the title itself, L'Immensity. Yeah. It's apparently named after an Italian pop song.
Yeah, one that uses the melody from Love Story, believe it or not.
Uh-huh. So you'd think maybe romance.
You would. But the review is really clear on this. It insists the film is not a love story. Not at all.
Okay, so what is it about that, according to the review?
It seems to focus very intensely on one family, circling around themes of, like, generational unhappiness, infidelity, and some complex identity issues.
So quite heavy stuff set against. Where's it set?
1970s Rome.
Yeah.
And the review paints a picture of the city itself as really sultry, electric, charged. You get these views of the skyline, even the Vatican Dome, from the family's apartment.
Okay, so this vibrant, maybe overwhelming city outside.
But here's the contrast the reviewer really picks up on. All that energy, that adventure happening outside, apparently none of it really gets into the family's apartment.
Oh. How's the apartment described?
Starkly. Just brown and beige, very muted, very contained.
Wow, that's quite a visual. So the liveliness is kept out.
Seems like it. The review suggests this contrast between the outside world and the inside space is pretty significant.
And I guess that contained brown and beige space is where all the family drama unfolds.
Exactly. The review suggests it's a household with really visible struggles, lots of tension, and the kids are right there, seeing their mother's unhappiness pretty directly.
Right. Okay, let's talk about the characters then, as seen through this review. The mother, Clara, played by Penélope Cruz. What's the take on her?
Complex seems to be the word. The review describes her as, well, desperately depressed, but also prone to these sudden, almost extreme bursts of hyperbehavior.
A real duality there.
Definitely. And the review mentions the kids see some awful stuff from the father, beatings, disrespect, cheating, even sexual assaults mentioned.
Jeez. Heavy. But you said she also has these other moments.
Yeah, the review balances that darkness by highlighting these outpourings of love and joy from her. She's described as playful, sometimes almost childlike.
Like how? Any examples?
It mentions her setting the table like it's a dance routine, racing her kids, starting water fights, things like that.
Okay, so the reviewer sees this, what, as a coping mechanism?
Well, they pose it as a question, an ambiguity. Is she desperately trying to overcompensate for how bleak things are? Or is it something maybe closer to, like, mania? Is she heading for breakdowns, left a bit open?
Interesting. And she's not Italian.
No, the review notes she's a Spanish expat living in Rome,
right.
And she apparently flits between Spanish and Italian. It also mentions she gets called this generation's Lorraine, suggesting that kind of star power.
Right, Sophia Loren, big comparison. And the review leans into that, her presence.
Hugely. It calls her larger than life. It says her happiness and sorrow are both really imposing on screen.
Okay, sounds like a powerhouse performance.
It does. But here's the twist in the critique. The reviewer argues that Cruz's sheer force, her bigness, actually makes the film feel too small for her.
Wait, too small? How can that be bad?
It's paradoxical, right? The reviewer suggests that despite giving an excellent performance, she almost feels wasted because the film itself feels too contained to match her energy.
Huh. That's a fascinating point.
Yeah, and they give this striking example. Apparently at one point, her child, Adri, yells at her, "Can you stop being so beautiful?"
Wow.
As if her very intensity is overwhelming within the frame of this story, at least for this critic.
Okay, I see. It's like the performance is almost too good or too big for the movie around it, in their view.
Something like that. Then there's Adri, one of Clara's 3 kids.
Played by Luana Giuliani, you said.
Yeah, Luana Giuliani. Born Adriana but prefers Andrea. And the review really focuses on Adri's internal struggle, feeling like an outsider, like they don't fit.
In what way?
Grappling with ideas like maybe being descended from aliens or just feeling fundamentally made wrong.
Right, and the review made a specific point about how this is presented, didn't it?
It did. It explicitly clarifies that this is not presented as a film about trans issues. According to the review, the word trans isn't used.
Okay.
It's framed more as Adri observing that they'd rather not be in the body they were born with, just that feeling of being wrong, of displacement.
And how does Adri cope with this feeling, according to the review?
Mostly by escaping into television. Specifically, song and dance routines on TV.
Ah, okay. And does that come into the film's style?
It does, yeah. Apparently, these moments manifest as these narrative breakaways. 3 black and white sequences where Adri imagines performing, sometimes even with Clara.
Interesting stylistic choice.
Yeah.
And the actor playing Adri.
Luana Giuliani. The review calls it a stunning debut. Says she really holds her own against Cruz, conveying a lot just with her eyes.
Good for her. Okay, so we have Clara and Adri. What about the father, Felice?
Played by Vincenzo Amato, the review notes he's worked with Crialese before.
And his character. Based on the review, he sounds less dynamic.
That's putting it mildly, it seems. Described as neglecting his family, usually dressed in gray, barely speaking in complete sentences. Very disengaged.
And the infidelity the review mentioned earlier.
It's described as almost boringly predictable. He's having a child with his young secretary. Standard stuff presented that way.
So a very withdrawn, neglectful, predictable father figure contrasts with the volatile, larger-than-life mother.
Exactly. And the child caught in the middle feeling made wrong. It's an intense setup.
But you said the film's style isn't predictable, despite the father.
Right, that's what the reviewer points out. You have this seemingly conventional domestic drama core, but then bam, these black and white song and dance numbers break in.
And there are other scenes, like family gatherings.
Yeah, the review mentions those. Lots of chatter, lots of food, looking kind of traditionally joyful on the surface. But even there, the reviewer notes both Clara and Adri still feel like outsiders. Clara because she's the Spanish expat, Adri because of that internal feeling of being wrong.
So even in supposedly happy moments, that sense of alienation persists for them.
Mm-hmm. But one point the reviewer makes quite strongly as a positive is about Clara's relationship with Adri.
Oh.
They say Clara shows a remarkable level of understanding towards Adri's feelings, especially given the time 1970s Catholic Rome. That understanding adds another layer to her character.
That is interesting. Adds complexity beyond just her own struggles. Okay, so we've got the setting, the intense family dynamic, these vivid characters as the reviewer sees them, the stylistic breaks. Where does this all land for the reviewer? What's the final verdict?
Well, the review definitely acknowledges the positives we've talked about. Cruz is excellent. Giuliani is stunning in her debut. The style has these unpredictable moments. The family gatherings have some joy. And Clara's understanding of Adri is a strong point.
But there's a but.
There is. The core critique, the thing that seems to run through the review, is summed up as something about l'immensità that fails to click.
Fails to click. That's kind of vague, though. Did they elaborate?
A little. They seem to struggle to pinpoint it exactly, but the reasons suggested circle back to what we discussed. Feeling the film is too small, too contained for Cruz's big performance.
Right, the intimacy paradox.
Yeah, feeling maybe too intimate overall or too contained. And that ultimately, despite those flashy song numbers, the film doesn't take enough risks with the central family drama itself. It pulls its punches a bit, perhaps.
So it's like the ambition shown in some elements, like the casting or the dance numbers, isn't quite matched by the core storytelling choices, maybe?
That seems to be the sense, yeah. That tension between its parts means it doesn't fully cohere or make the impact it could have for this reviewer.
And the final thought from the review really drives that home.
It does. It circles back to the setting, saying the film is not nearly as imposing and exhilarating as La Città Eterna, Rome itself.
Ouch. So the city's vastness wins out over the film's internal world, in their opinion.
Pretty much. Which, brings us back to why looking at just one review like this is actually really useful for you, the listener.
Yeah, it's not just about thumbs up or thumbs down.
Exactly. You get to see how a critic processes these things, how they weigh the performances against the script, the style against the substance.
It helps you understand the specific choices a filmmaker made, like that contrast between the apartment and the city, or the stylistic breaks through someone else's eyes, and how they interpreted the characters, like Clara's complexity or how Adri's struggle is framed.
It gives you a really focused lens to think about the film, whether you've seen it or are thinking about seeing it. You see how all the pieces fit together, or in this case, maybe didn't quite fit together perfectly for this one viewer.
It encourages you to think about not just what a film shows, but how it shows it, and how those choices affect the experience.
Definitely.
Okay, so wrapping up our deep dive into this single review of L'Immensity you brought us, we've unpacked the complex family dynamics set against that vibrant 70s Rome backdrop.
We've looked at the characters of Clara and Adri. Fascinating, powerful, but maybe constrained by the film itself, according to the reviewer.
Right. And the film's unique stylistic choices, those song and dance numbers, contrasted with the reviewer's overall feeling that something just didn't quite click, that maybe the film didn't fully live up to its potential or its star power.
So maybe final thought for you to take away and consider. Think about that contrast that the review highlights. That intense claustrophobic drama inside the brown and beige apartment versus the huge energetic city just outside the window.
Yeah.
Did the film, in the reviewer's eyes, fail to bridge that gap? Or maybe that tension, that disconnect between the internal and external worlds is actually part of the film's point. It definitely makes you think about the different worlds we all navigate, inside ourselves and out in the world.